Hi there, Jamie Good here of wineandrack.com, and I'm here with Chef de Cave of Moetetchandon, Benoit Gouez, who is going to talk to us about a new champagne, which is Moet imperial. So Benoit, tell us about this champagne.
Well, not yet on Ice Imperial, because I wanted to start with Moet Imperial, that is our really classic non-vintage, and also to explain the contrast between Moet Imperial and then Moet Ice Imperial. As you know, Moetetchandon has been founded in 1743 and has been especially successful with Moet Imperial, that is a very classic style of champagne, very harmonious with a bright fruitiness, generosity, and that has always been developed to be drunk in classic champagne circumstances. We have realized a few years ago that in the summer, in the warm season, people were not drinking that much champagne. It remained something for very special occasions, most of the sales being at the end of the year. But when you think of the summer, you realize that people are relaxed, they like to go out and they want to have fun. It sounds like champagne, but at the same time we were not doing much during the summer, so we've been thinking of, what do we miss in order to meet with consumers' expectations in the summer, and we have realized, let's say, two things. One is that maybe in the summer, during the hot season, when people are relaxed, they are looking for something less formal, more casual, and maybe champagne can be seen as too formal for such occasion. That was one thing. And secondly, people in the summer want to be refreshed, and maybe our classic champagne wasn't providing the refreshing effect people can look for, especially when it comes to have drinks on ice, because many people in the summer, they want something that is very light, that is very fresh, that is very refreshing, and they often ask for their drinks to be served on ice. So we started to think of, okay, what should we propose in order to offer a great champagne experience in the summer, and it's where the concept of Moetetchandon Ice Imperial starts.
Great.
And actually, a few years ago, we have started to see some people asking for their classic champagne to be served on ice. It started in Saint-Tropez, for instance, and it has gained a nickname. It's called the piscine, the swimming pool, and it's amazing that in some of the really trendy hotspots around the world, the idea of having champagne on ice has started to develop. But if you do it with Moetetchandon Imperial, that has been developed to be good on its own, to be balanced and harmonious on its own. If you serve it on ice, very fast, due to the temperature and the dilution, you break the balance of the wine and you get something that is watery and winey and not that good, and you lose the identity of the product. So the idea has been to say, okay, some people are interested in having their champagne on ice. Let's create a champagne specifically for being consumed on ice. Understanding that a classic champagne such as Moetetchandon Imperial doesn't work on ice. And again, the idea with Ice Imperial is not to promote champagne on ice. I still consider that Imperial or Grand Vintage are best served on their own, because it's where they get their harmony. So we have created a new champagne, Moetetchandon Ice Imperial, that has been created especially and exclusively to be served and to be enjoyed over ice.
It must have been quite fun.
It was fun. It was fun because there are two aspects. One is that it's an innovation. It was a challenge. Nobody saw before of having champagne on ice. We know it sounds a little bit provocative, but I believe that we have to innovate. We have to look for new occasions to enjoy champagne. We have to recruit new consumers. So it was important to look for new ideas. And in terms of making the wine, it was a challenge because I had to understand what was happening for a champagne served on ice and to understand the effect of the ice itself. But to the end, it's quite simple. What the ice brings is a lower temperature and dilution. And my point is that you have to anticipate that, and you have to create the champagne as if the ice was a component of the champagne, as if it was one ingredient of the champagne, anticipating the effect of the temperature and the dilution in the making of the wine. And therefore, we have worked on 3 different dimensions. We have reinforced in order to make the experience of moetetchandon ice imperial a real high-quality champagne experience. We have really worked on the intensity of the flavors. We have worked on the richness, but we have also worked on the freshness, on the finish, in order to give the refreshment, the thirst-quenching effect people are looking for. But we should taste it now.
Yes.
Yes, as you noticed, the packaging is quite new.
Close up the packaging there. That's very distinctive.
It
Bling.
It respects all the, I would say, moetetchandon codes, the diamond pattern, the tie, the classic label, but then with you know, a white atmosphere that is quite high-catching, but also really suggests that idea of freshness, lightness that people are looking for in the summer.
The addition of the ice.
We recommend to serve the champagne first and then to have the ice rather than the opposite.
I see.
Because you...
Is that the effect of the...
For the effervescence, you get...
Close up there of the ice floating in the champagne.
And
This is the first time for me. I've never had champagne with ice in before. I'm quite very excited about it.
It's... I think what's even more interesting is really to understand the quality of the wine. Is really to have a classic great champagne on ice, to understand that it doesn't taste good. Again, because it hasn't been developed for that. The balance of the wine is harmonious on its own. But if people are interested in having champagne on ice, you have to create a champagne especially for that. And again, Ice Imperial has been created exclusively. And it's the first ever champagne created to be exclusively enjoyed over ice. And the wine itself has been developed in order to anticipate the effect of the ice. The most important for me being to keep the identity of the wine throughout the tasting, you know, not to lose the flavors, not to lose the harmony on the plate, because we know that the ice is going to weaken the taste. So at first we have really reinforced the intensity of the flavors.
Do you do that through adjusting the dosage?
No. It starts with the blending. It's as you know, as any champagne, every single element has been designed. So it starts with the blending. The most, I would say, the priority has been to drive the intensity of the flavors. Therefore, working more on Pinot Noir, because among the 3 varietals in Champagne, the one that really brings the intensity in the flavors is more the Pinot Noir. Looking for Pinot Noir with very strong flavors, a little bit green at first, but over the years it develops into exotic flavors. And it also brings the structure to the wine. Because one thing we have realized very, very early is that you need some richness in the wine. If you make it too light, the dilution is going to make it very watery. So you need to develop the richness through the use of the Pinot Meunier, but also through the use of a slightly higher dosage. But to integrate well the dosage, and in order not to make a wine that leaves a sweet taste, you need also to build up the structure in order to really integrate the dosage into the wine. Therefore, the predominance of Pinot Noir.
And do you use reserve wines as well? Older wines?
Also, so it's also reserve wines. The idea at Moët with reserve wines is really to keep the consistency of the blend. You know, it's not to add extra maturity or age characters, and that's the same with imperial, who are looking for consistency through the reserve wines, especially. In the case of Ice Imperial, we are not looking for aged characters. You know, we really want to stay on the fruity side, something very intense, something very bright and fruity. So Pinot Noir for the intensity and the structure, Pinot Meunier for the flesh. And the third element that is really key is that, again, in the summer, when people want to be refreshed, it needs a little bit of either acidity or bitterness that really gives the refreshing effect and balance with the dosage.
I suppose one way to get richness and flavour is to up the dosage and up the acidity. So you don't notice the acidity so much because of the sweetness, but it adds some volume to the wine.
I would say it's that and the opposite. I mean, you know, it's also that in order to keep the dosage not too obvious, by reinforcing the acidity, it also helps to, you know, to cut the sweetness on the finish, to come back to something very fresh and very light and very, very focused. And again, it brings the refreshing effect we are looking for when drinking in the summer.
Should we try it then?
Yes.
It's rich, isn't it? It's very rich.
It's rich.
It's fresh.
It's fruity, but progressively, when you start with something that is very rich at first, thanks to the dilution, you get something that comes to be very well balanced. You know, with intensity, with fruitiness, but without leaving a sweet taste, I would say. You know, it finishes very fresh, very focused, and the fruity side is very, very important.
It's very nice.
And obviously it's been more developed to be enjoyed on the beach, around the swimming pool, on the rooftop terrace, outside atmosphere, you know, daytime. Really we want to just relax and have something fruity and fresh and relaxing and enjoyable.
And this is the sort of glass you should serve it on?
Yes, because we are looking for generosity. The idea clearly is to propose a new way of enjoying champagne. Okay, it remains really true to champagne and really true to moetetchandon in terms of quality, but we really want to propose an alternative to classic consumption. It's not in place of classic champagne.
Yes.
It's in addition.
Yes.
You know, it's really a new opportunity.
Occasions where champagne is appropriate.
Exactly.
I guess you don't want to start people, you know, ditching the imperial for this, because that would not be the idea.
Exactly.
The goal is to give people new occasions and excuses for opening champagne.
Exactly, and maybe for a different mood, a different mindset. You know, back to imperial, it could be just before the dinner as an aperitif. I would say with Ice Imperial, it's even before the aperitif. In a way, it's really at the end of the day when you're back from the beach or back from your work and you just want to have something more casual you know, relaxed, just to have a good time with a drink that is fruity, that is lively, and that is refreshing.
Do you think you'll see other champagne houses doing the same sort of thing in the future?
If they do, it means that it was the right idea, and I think so. I think they will. You know, Moet-et-Chandon, as the leader in Champagne, has always been known for its innovations, is it in the viticulture, the winemaking, the wines, the marketing, whatever. It's part of our DNA. It's part of our values to be not only glamorous and successful, but also to be a pioneer and to be innovative. And I know that people expect that from Moet-et-Chandon. And it's been experimented last summer in a few specific outlets, and the feedback has been very, very positive. So therefore, this year in 2011, we really expand Iced Imperial, and it's been very, very well received, especially as, again, it's additional to classic champagne experience, and it gets the interest from new people, I would say, at other times, on other season, other occasions. So it really broadened the opportunities of having a great modern champagne experience.
And pricing, that same price as the...
It's going to be, it's going to have a light premium over Imperial. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Benoit.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.